Over the weekend, there was a smattering of CDH tournaments and also a smattering of cheating incidents. So, what do you think about cheating in Magic? Do the players deserve immediate long term bans, or even banned for life? Or what mitigation can they take to re enter a position in competitive Magic? Is there any path to forgiveness for cheaters? First up is the SLC 10K, where a finals match between four players ended up in an 11-hour draw because the player was able to negotiate for a time limit to the match, purportedly due to an early flight the next day. It's reported, and by reported I mean there's a stream of this available. The player went into the think tank on every action he could to draw out as much time as he could, going so far as to also ask to speak to the judge off camera and mic. I actually want to reach out to this guy because I need to learn how to draw out my videos so they're long enough to hit the algorithm better. No pace of play was enforced. The TO let this continue for the entire match. This includes what is being called a 5-hour portion of the game to just resolve a single stack. So is this cheating? Online commentators say that with the board state, a different player was certainly going to win if the game had proceeded at the proper pace or had uncapped time as most finals are. I believe it was most likely intentional in this case. This player appears to have created a scenario for himself by having the timer added to the match and then slow played everything possible. I think the exclamation point on this attempt was that the player attempted to play Thassa's Oracle at the end of the timer and then play politics to say that everyone should concede the match to him. A lot of the discourse on this event blamed the TO for not enforcing the pace of play, and I agree with that. The TO should have been properly evaluating this scenario and are culpable along with the player. But apparently, the players themselves have to actually request the TO to enforce pace of play, so maybe that rule needs to change. However, I think Wizards shares some blame here too. To start with, there is no official judge program anymore. TOs are able to pick anyone, and there aren't any standards to compare their knowledge against to evaluate how they will perform. Secondly, Wizards has the right to cancel any tournament that they disagree with. If a TO makes continuous mistakes like this that the players find outrageous, then it's Wizards' responsibility to stop that TO from operating more Magic tournaments. Third, this isn't a sanctioned format, and I rail on Commander all the time. So even with traditional oversight 60-card formats have, it's still a multiplayer format that allows players to negotiate with each other, which will continue to create unfair situations if players who are friends or teammates end up in the pairing for the tournament. There's also the issue of the player who goes first tends to win over 33% of the time, so the game is unfair to begin with, and now we have to deal with people rule sharking along the way. The other event this weekend was won by a player who has a past history of cheating. I like though that this tournament tracker slash decklist site just has him marked as cheater on this image. Now this player was actually caught red-handed cheating, no doubt about that. He drew an extra amount of cards an extra amount of time while on stream. I don't know if he won that event that he cheated in, but he seems to carry this mark with him and the community is well aware of what he's done. Wizards though can't do much about this player because they don't have an event ban list for individuals, and it's still an unsanctioned format that they don't regulate. Wizards, though, does have the ability to step in whenever they want and apply any regulations that they'd like to. So it'd be nice to have some sort of penalty structure set up where we know if you commit a certain amount of offenses or these specific offenses, this is what the punishment's going to be, how long it's going to last for, and how it's going to be enforced. We also see here that this player has taken some responsibility. He apparently spoke to the TO and revealed his past and encouraged them to keep that in mind when he might be involved in a judge call. He also informed his opponents so that they may take any precautions they normally wouldn't. This player was also able to come in first place. Do you think knowing your opponent has been caught cheating is a positive or a negative for your match? Would you take it in stride and just play as you normally would and keep a close eye on him? Or would it throw you off your game and you'd be too worried about him cheating to actually pay attention to the cards? A lot of comments applauded him for owning his mistake and being honest with his opponents, but there's another viewpoint as well. We only know that he was caught cheating once. We don't know that it was his only time cheating. It could have been much more problematic. So let me know what you think in the comments. Does Wizards need to step in and control Commander more if the TOs won't? Or should they stay hands off and let things continue the way they are? Thanks for watching. Take care.